That was pretty good timing right there. So good evening and welcome, and we'll call the meeting of the Cleveland County Board of Education for Monday, January 8th, 2024 to order. I'd like to call on Reverend Dale Bird of Eastside Baptist Church for an invocation.
Let's pray together. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for an opportunity to come before you and just to humble ourselves and to be quiet for just a moment, to realize that you're our God. And Lord, I was reminded today, just thinking about how Paul admonished those who he taught to be followers of God's example, that we would try to love as you love. And Lord God, I pray that that might be the case in all circumstances, not only here tonight, but always, as we try to be a light in a world that has plenty of darkness in it. I pray, God, for every student in this county, for every teacher and administrator. Lord, I pray for this board, and I pray for parents and children. Lord, they're all precious in your sight. And Lord, may we see each and every one just that way, as you have given us that example. We love you, and we pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. Mr. Fitch, if you'd lead us in the pledge.
All stand. Salute and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have some special recognition tonight. I'd like to call on Dr. Jason Parker to introduce our elementary honors course.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and Superintendent Fisher. The North Carolina Elementary Honors Course is a group of approximately 180 students who are chosen from across the state to perform at the North Carolina Music Educators Association Conference each year. The purpose of this honors chorus is to provide students with the opportunity to develop their abilities to the greatest possible extent. This year, I'm excited to announce that 18 of those 180 students were selected from Cleveland County schools. That's about 10% of the state's overall honors chorus population. We're thrilled with representation from Cleveland County schools this year. This evening, our students will begin tonight's recognition by singing Sukkot Shalom Mekach, which is a Hebrew prayer. The students selected this song to be sung tonight. It will be sung in original Hebrew. We will then recognize teachers and students individually after their performance. As they're making their way down, I do want to recognize we do have several elementary principals also here tonight to celebrate the success of their students and also to support their music teachers. Principals, thank you for being here to support your students. We will recognize students from each school, and at the end we will recognize our music teachers as well. We have one student who is not able to be present tonight because of other commitments, and that is Desi Peeler from Kaiser Elementary, but Principal Lindsay Mays is here to accept that certificate on Desi's behalf. We have several students from Fallston Elementary who are with us tonight, and students, when I call your name, if you'll pick up your certificate from Dr. Fisher and then come stand right here in front of the board, we will have a photo at the very end. From Fallston Elementary, we have Harper Gammons. Mackenzie James. Peyton Sipe. And Collins Spangler. We will now move to students from Kings Mountain Intermediate School. Evan Goodnight. Ivana Kelly. Alston Ladd. Braylyn Laws. And James Welsh. We will now recognize students from North Elementary School. Madison Smith. And Rebecca Welsh. We will now recognize students from James Love Elementary School. Nicole Arevelis. And Nulani McDaniel. From Springmore Elementary School, Kaylin Goodrich. From Union Elementary School, Logan Baya. And from Washington Elementary School, Arabella Salinas Wilson. We also want to take some time this evening to recognize our music teachers who worked with students who represented Cleveland County Schools at the Honors Chorus. Board members, these teachers have to start immediately as soon as school starts with selection, audition, and then planning the trip down to represent our school system. From Kaiser Elementary and Union Elementary, Mrs. Barbara McNeely. From Fallston Elementary, Mrs. Susan Fogelman. From Kings Mountain Intermediate School, Mrs. Angie Costner. From North Elementary School, Tracy Adderholt, who is not with us tonight. From James Love Elementary School, Miss Ashley Smith. From Springmore Elementary School, Mrs. Samantha Collins. And from Washington Elementary, Mrs. Shirley Queen. Thank you, board members, for your support of elementary ed. Let's give our students and staff a big round of applause.
You can proceed at your pleasure, Dr. Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Queen, members of the board. Fortunately for you, you're not going to ask me to sing, or I'm not going to sing tonight. But I hope that probably not quite as impressive as our students, but I hope that some of the data we share tonight will be as impressive with the work that's being done in our schools and in our community. I want to take an opportunity tonight to really brag and to highlight some of the work being done with CCP, and I'll get into that in just a minute. But before I start, I really want to recognize the collective and collaborative effort that goes on in putting on CCP. Doing it right, like I believe we're doing it in Cleveland County, takes more than the school system. It takes a collaborative environment with Cleveland County Schools, with the Cleveland Community College, and you're going to have the opportunity to hear from Jason Hurst in just a few minutes. It takes an effort between our high schools, counselors, administrators, students, and their families. So there's a lot of moving parts when we talk about the CCP experience that really is important. But hopefully as you see this, you'll see the benefit not just to our students, but to our entire community as we look about economic impact and what our students are experiencing. So you may ask, what is CCP? Hopefully my slide's going to work. Ginger, you may have to help me in the back. All right, so CCP is North Carolina's dual enrollment program for high school students, Career College Promise. It allows eligible students to enroll in community college classes, and that is through Cleveland Community College, through their high school. Successful completion of these classes allows students to earn college credit as well as fulfill high school requirements. So you probably are familiar with the generic term called dual enrollment. And dual enrollment has been around for a while. It's not a new concept. The newer, not really new anymore, but the newer part of that is CCP. We use CCP in our high school with the collaboration between us and Cleveland Community College. So how do students access CCP in Cleveland County Schools? So there's really a couple of different ways that our young people access that. First is through the Cleveland Early College High School. And as you're aware, that is a school. It's located on the campus of Cleveland Community College on the bottom floor of the LeGrand, or the first floor of the LeGrand Center. And those students are in high school and enrolled in the community college. The goal is that program is when they finish that program in 4 years, they have their high school diploma and associate's degree. I'll get you some data on the CCP, or on Cleveland Early College in just a few minutes, but that is one of the options that students access CCP in our school district. The most popular method in which students access CCP in Cleveland County Schools is college classes that are taught at traditional high school. And those can be in-person classes, or those can be online classes, but they are taught in our high schools. We are blessed to have such a wonderful partnership with the community college that the college professors come to us. Transportation is a challenge. And as many students as we have, if we had our students to have to go to the community college to take our courses, that would be a challenge for many of our students. Some students can do that, but other students cannot. Also, the scheduling challenge of doing that with class change and travel time, it just is not as effective as what we're able to do. We're very fortunate because this is not the case in a lot of places. Again, I believe that Cleveland County Schools and Cleveland Community College does this process right, and we are very good at what we do with that. So those students access that in person and online. It's during the school day. We do have some students that take some online classes in the evening or in the summer, but the majority of that is taken during the school day. So during first period, students at Shelby High School, they may have, Biology 111, and then they may have Biology 112 later in the semester. They may take Spanish. They may take any number of college transfer classes through the community college. And so you may ask, well, how do these what classes are eligible? There's lots of classes that are eligible to be taken. There's an articulation agreement that the school system has with the community college, and this is a state agreement that aligns those classes. So the students, you can see the benefit for students is they're able to achieve and get high school credit towards graduation, but they're also able to get community college credit as well. You can see now where this benefit is going to come. The third option, which is a newer option, is called the busing option. And it is, called the busing option because we actually bus cohorts of kids from our school to the community college. We started this several years ago as an extension of what we're doing at the traditional high schools. For the most part, the busing option are classes that can't be easily taught at our high schools, or is a class that is not taught. And some of our high schools, they don't have welding, so we may use the busing option to allow those students to teach welding. In some of our other high schools, we have welding, so we would not use the busing option for those students to take welding. The busing option is a shuttle that runs from our high schools to the community college. They're there in the mornings. Then that shuttle takes them back. They are able to participate in the traditional high school classes in the afternoon. That is for juniors and seniors. We try to encourage, especially on certificate programs, to take 2 years, juniors to get involved with that, but we do have many seniors that start that as well. Students can drive. If they have their own transportation, they can drive. They could drive to the community college in the morning, take their classes, and then come back to school. So that's the busing option. Those are the real things. Those are three major ways that our students access CCP courses or dual enrollment courses in Cleveland County. So what does that mean for our school system? What does that mean for our students? Well, it's a way that we cultivate excellence. And in our mission and vision, we talk about creating exceptional educational experiences. And this is an experience. In our strategic plan, we address the idea of we want every student to have a career and a college experience before they leave high school. We want our students prepared for their post-secondary careers. What better way to do this than to experience that through the community college? At the community college, students get a career experience in some classes. They get a college experience in some classes. And in many classes, they get both, a career and a college experience. If you've had the opportunity to attend the holiday Christmas luncheons at the community college the last 2 years, 2 years ago they focused on an HVA student and an HVA student program. That HVA student's a family friend of mine, and it's been an excellent opportunity for him to launch his career in the area of HVAC. This past Christmas, we heard about their nursing program. And again, 3 students from Cleveland County Schools were highlighted, different areas and different levels in their nursing program, but students that really had a fast track into their careers and an exceptional opportunities for those students. What we heard in that were that the students coming from Cleveland County Schools were extremely prepared and ready for college life. And they were seeing tremendous success with our students moving into the programs because of the partnership that we have. So it means a lot for Cleveland County Schools. I believe that it means more for our students, their families, and our community with the dual enrollment program. So we want to spend a few minutes talking about some data. So I've highlighted here and appreciate the community college and their work to provide data for us. I've highlighted 2019, 2020. That is the year prior to COVID. So you can see the growth that we've had in just 4 years of work with CCP. In 2019, 2020, we had 693 unduplicated students. And you know what I mean by unduplicated. If I take 3 classes, I only get counted 1 time in that unduplicated round. Now, let's think about this. Only 11th and 12th graders are eligible for this. And so we have about 1,800 11th and 12th graders. So over 40% of our students that are eligible grade-wise are taking advantage of these courses. And so in 2019, 2020, there were 9,390 credit hours taken. So again, we have multiple students that may be taking, some students will take 3 credit hours, some students will take a lot more credit hours, but that's the credit hours taken in 19 and 20. In 22, 23, this past school year, had an unduplicated head count of 781, and the credit hours is 13,247. This data, if you remember the slide before, I gave you 3 ways that students access CCP. This is data from way 2 and 3. This does not count early college students. I'll show you that in just a minute. So you can see the percent growth in those 4 years, a 13% growth in head count, and a 41% growth in credits taken. So while we're having more students take CCP classes, the students that are taking them are taking more classes at a higher rate, if that makes sense. Let's talk about the early college. Now what you'll see with the early college is more of a consistent. So why haven't you seen growth at the early college? Well, the enrollment in the early college is capped. So that shows that cap in enrollment. In 2019, 2020, we had 218 unduplicated head count, and then 4 years later, we're at 219. You can see a little bit lower, a smaller number of credit hours taken, and that's a result of a change in schedule on Fridays, where we had students that take an elective class, and that just didn't work in ours or the college's schedule, so we do have a little bit lower number of credit hours taken because of that change in Friday, but very consistent with our early college. There has been conversation, and some of you have been in that conversation about some potential expansion at the early college at some point when the community college is able to create some space, if you will, in their building, and then obviously it's funding related for teachers and staff. But Dr. Hurst and I have had ongoing conversations about potential expansion of the early college, but I want to make sense that is not in the immediate future for expansion there. Unless somebody wants to donate a lot of money to the college or the school system, then we can make that happen a little quicker. So combined, we're looking at total CCP involvement in 2019, 2020, an unduplicated count of 911, and in 2022, 2023, an unduplicated head count of 1,000. So you're looking at a 10% growth when you factor in the early college and a 29% increase in credit hours taken. I think that's phenomenal growth for our school system, for the community college, but for our students. Translate that to mean more of our students are getting a better career and a better college level experience in our high schools because of the partnership we're having with Cleveland Community College. Our students are able to access traditional classes, AP classes, honors classes in our high school, but also are able to access community college classes through this partnership, and they are more prepared moving into their post-secondary careers than I believe they ever have been before. So what does this mean beyond just credits earned? That's nice. If we'd stop the slide right there, I think that would be a good presentation and some good information. But let's get to what does it mean, what's the economic impact that has in our community. So here are 5 high schools that participate in CCP. You can see we have 107 students last year that graduated with their associate's degree. We had about 900 students that graduated. So right at 11% of our students that graduate from high school are graduating from their associate's degree. As a matter of fact, those students actually graduate with their associate's degree before they graduate from high school with their 4-year high school diploma. It's pretty neat to see at the community college graduation, students walk across that stage and we can say, that's ours, that's ours, that's ours. It's an unbelievable opportunity for our students. You can see the breakdown of number of students that are graduating with associate's degree. And then let's talk about cost. So if those, and we'll use the early college as an example. We have 40 students at the early college that graduated with their associate's degree. If they just got there, if they graduated from high school with no credits, and they went and got their associate's degree from Cleveland Community College, that would cost them over $204,000. In which, now how much did they pay for their associate's degree at the early college? They didn't pay a dime. Their parents didn't pay a dime. So we save, for those students, we save their parents over $204,000. If they would have taken that equivalent at the UNC college system, you could say it's the community college is about a third of the cost. So it would cost over almost $650,000 if they would have done that at the UNC system. Now that's an average rate at the UNC system. Obviously inside the UNC system there's some cost variability there, but that is the average rate. So we look at the cumulative there, almost $550,000 of savings to parents and to families, just at the community college level on the low end. On the high end, it's over $1.7 million of savings of money that would have gone out of parents and families' income into the college and university system. That's a significant impact that this program is having on Cleveland County. But I won't stop there. We also had 72 students that graduated with their certificate. And so the cost for a certificate after high school, using the same thought process is, and we'll use the early college, those 15 students, if they'd have got that same certificate at the community college, it would have cost a little over $17,000. So when you look at those 72 students there, those certificate programs would have cost over $85,000, in which outside of some fees and some things like that, which most times students aren't absorbing, students aren't paying anything for those certificates. And so as we try to draw this to a close, our district have 7,623 transferable credits at an average cost of the UNC system cost per credit of $270 a credit. The cost equivalents for the UNC system would be over $2 million. Again, those are credits that are earned at the community college by our students that they're earning there and not having to pay for at the in the UNC system. As a parent, that is tremendous savings to understand that many of our students are going in to college as sophomores and juniors. Even those students that didn't get their associate's degree, we have lots of students that are going to college with 20, 30, 40 hours, and that's money that their parents aren't having to pay for that college. And so when we total that up, transferable college credit, a little over $2 million, certificate program, a little over $85,000, there is an economic impact just from CCP of over $2.1 million in Cleveland County. That's just cost savings of money that would have been spent on education that is spent in other areas in our county. We still didn't talk about FTEs from the college, because these students, while they're students of ours, they're also students at the community college. So when you take those two numbers from the slide before and you add in the approximate CTE, the FTE earned from Cleveland Community College, which is a little over $2.6 million, the total economic impact of CCP in Cleveland County is almost $4.8 million. And that is counting money that we're not having to spend on college education, plus money that the college is bringing in FTE. So I think not only is CCP creating exceptional educational experiences for our students, it's creating real-world examples from the career and the college standpoint. It's also, from an economic impact, having a large economic impact in Cleveland County. So I'll leave you with why is CCP successful. I think I covered that a little bit at the end. And then I'd like to recognize Dr. Jason Hurst. Dr. Hurst has been the president at the community college, Cleveland Community College, for a while. He does a great job and is a true partner and advocate for Cleveland County schools. And let him finish here with, in his opinion, why CCP is successful and what does CCP mean for Cleveland Community College. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher, and fellow board members. It is certainly a great honor to be here with you tonight, especially to talk about a program that is so positive and has been so successful and so impactful in our community. These are certainly fun things to get up and talk about as we celebrate the successes of this program. And, you know, I would just say, and Dr. Fisher touched on a lot of this, but why this program is so successful. It has to do with our staff. I mean, it has to do with us working directly with Cleveland County Schools and Cleveland County Schools working with us. It's the principals and the counselors and the instructors and teachers in the schools. We have advisors on the high school campuses every day. They're full-time employees of the college, and they're on the campuses of the high schools working directly with each student, making sure that their career path is set in the direction that they want to go. So we really work hard to do that, and helping students know which direction they need to go, and how Cleveland Community College can be a partner in that, and how we can potentially help. And I think it takes rolling up your sleeves and working through the hard issues. And it certainly, I've had the opportunity to be in 3 different states and seen dual enrollment done quite a few different ways, and it's fairly unusual to have a situation where CCP is done in the high school. So almost 100% of what we do is taught at the local high school. So there's some challenges with that. It's certainly can be a hardship on the college, and we've had some difficulties that we've had to work through. Cleveland County Schools has had some difficulties they've had to work through, but Dr. Fisher, Dr. Hunnell, and the entire team has been totally committed to finding solutions to the very hard problems, and we have as well. So I'm so proud of this program. What I would also say is that during the time span that you've seen up here, Cleveland Community College, over a 5-year period, was the fastest growing community college in North Carolina. Out of 58 community colleges, we were the fastest growing. A big part of that was the growth that we've experienced in our CCP program. In addition to that, I am so proud to say that we just found out this past, I think September, October, that Cleveland Community College is the top performing institution, community college in North Carolina. We're number 1. So I am so proud of not only the growth that we've experienced, but the quality, the level of quality that we are experiencing at our college. And that just shines through with the caliber of students that we're getting from Cleveland County Schools. So I'm so proud of this program. What does it mean for our college? I think it's an opportunity. You know, you saw an example of 107 students that graduated high school with their associate degree. That's not the average student. Most of the students that come through, they're taking a few courses. They may take a handful of courses, and some may take 30 semester hours. So the vast majority of the students are not graduating with their associate degrees. So what does this do for us? This is an opportunity for each of these students to be exposed to college level work, to be exposed to the faculty and staff at Cleveland Community College, and to really know and understand that they have some great opportunities locally. They don't have to travel out of state. They don't have to travel somewhere across the state to go to college. They can go to college right here in their hometown. They can begin that process in high school, and it's just a true win for everyone. When you look at the labor statistics across the state, we are not providing enough graduates in associate degrees, baccalaureate degrees, masters, and the list goes on and on. So we can always do a better job of promoting college, promoting career pathways, and I think that's what we're doing with this program specifically. But as you think about the workforce, North Carolina has been the #1 state to do business in 2 years in a row. And a big part of that is the workforce that we have. When you talk to site selectors and what they're looking for when they're thinking about locating to a community, the #1 thing they look for is the availability of a skilled workforce. We're providing that. We are the tip of the spear where the rubber meets the road in providing a skilled workforce for this community. And the vast majority of our students, they stay local. They come to our college, they gain a valuable skill, and they stay right here in Cleveland County or in this region to work. That's a win for our community. And having this tremendous increase in the number of students enrolled in this program has been a big, big win for our county. And so I'm so proud of this program and the partnership that we have with Dr. Fisher. My wife is here with me, and she's an employee of Cleveland County Schools. And our 3 kids have all participated in dual enrollment. As a matter of fact, our youngest just graduated from Crest High School year before last, and she also graduated with her associate degree and is in her last semester of nursing at Cleveland Community College and has already been offered a job at $32 an hour at the local hospital. So we're so proud of her, and we have a personal example of how successful that program can be. So I really appreciate you guys standing behind this program and this commitment. It's a lot of work for a lot of people, but it's worth it. And so I thank you for your support with that. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hurst. And I would clarify, Dr. Fisher, I believe the numbers you were showing, that is per year. That economic impact, that was just the last school year, so that's per year.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move along to adoption of the agenda. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Fitch. Second. Second by Mr. Spurling. Any questions or discussion? Those in favor, if you'd raise your hand. That carries 9-0. Next, we have approval of the minutes. We have one set of minutes, and that is for the December 11th business session. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Fitch.
Second.
Second by Mr. Spurling. Any questions or discussion?
Do I need to discuss the minutes when it comes to a committee meeting
Yeah, this
now,
one-
or wait to the committee?
Wait till the committee.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on the December 11th business session? Those in favor, if you'd raise your hand. And that carries 9-0. We'll move on to our committee reports. First is Finance and Personnel. Mr. Shores.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Finance and Personnel Committee meeting met Thursday, January 4th. Rob McDaniel shared the 2023-2024 budget update as we're halfway through the fiscal year. Mr. McDaniel and his team are working on the proposed 24-25 budget, looking at budget priorities and timeline. Board members are asked to let Dr. Fisher or Mr. McDaniel know if they have any budget suggestions to be included in the new budget. Based on this year's budget and the use of the fund balance, we will need to make staffing cuts for the 24-25 school year if we do not get additional local funds. Donna Piercy provided an ESSER update. Dr. Fisher reviewed the report with the committee. We are on track for all ESSER money to be spent by the deadline of September 2024. Dr. Wampler shared information related to the state teacher performance bonuses that will be paid out to eligible teachers in their January paycheck. The bonuses were earned by result of end of the year assessments from 2022-2023 school year. State teacher bonuses are given for top academic growth in reading to eligible 3rd through 5th grade teachers, in math to eligible 4th to 8th grade teachers, to go to high school teachers for students passing advanced placement exams, and for CTE teachers whose students earn selected credentials. In addition, CCS teachers will receive an additional teacher supplement from the PRC 071 fund in January. Eligible teachers with 15 or more years of experience will get the maximum bonus of $2,250, and eligible teachers with 14 or less years of experience would get the equal amount of the remaining balance. To be eligible, a teacher must be employed with Cleveland County Schools on December 20th, 2023. Ginger Jackson recommended plan to purchase Apple iPads for kindergarten students. This is at a cost of $466,348.93 for the district. This is a sole source purchase on state contract. The iPads will be used by students to access district academic platforms and assessment tools. This comes as school requests because touchscreen devices such as iPad are best suited for kindergartners as opposed to Chromebooks. The purchase will be paid using DSSF and buyback monies earned for the sale of teachers' Chromebooks. The committee recommended unanimously to purchase these. Ms. Jackson shared the cost to plan the update the ninth grade Chromebooks. The cost is $446,955.50. The vendor is the National Tips contract, and this was the lowest of multiple bids. The purchase will be funded through using technology fees collected by schools. The committee unanimously approved this. Ms. Jackson also requested the board approve the annual Microsoft EES agreement in the annual amount of $84,610.61. This is the second year of a 3-year agreement. This is to be paid out of state technology funds. The committee unanimously approved this. Dr. Fisher shared details of the Restart School designation process, which is available to low-performing schools. Restart status also allows the school to have a budget, employment, class size, and calendar flexibility. Dr. Fisher explained the advantages of the flexibility in these areas. Dr. Fisher's recommendation is to renew Restart status for James Love Elementary and apply for Restart status for Washington and Township 3 elementary schools. The application for Restart status is due at the end of January, so the board approval is requested. The committee unanimously supported the recommendation. With no new business, we went into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A6 to discuss some personnel matter. After that, the meeting was adjourned. The next meeting is February the 1st, 2024 at 12 noon.
Thank you, Mr. Shores. We do have several action items in finance and personnel. First is the purchase of Apple iPads for kindergartners. This will be 1,060 units. It is a sole source through a state contract. As mentioned, DSSF funds and buyback funds will be used, and the cost of that is $466,348.93. Does come from committee, recommended for approval. Are there any questions or discussion?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason, so the biggest reason for Apple is the touch capabilities? Is there a reason like Hewlett Packard, Microsoft, some of those, since this is a sole source, is Apple that much better, or?
I can't answer that question. Is Ms. Jackson in the back? I see some audience members nodding that Apple's better, but
You just thought you were hidden back there.
The reason for my recommendation for Apple iPads, we are already using those in our environment. Kindergarten's already used, they have classroom sets, which will be graduated up to first grade, and some EC students. So it's just to stay with the environment they're used to, and it works in our network and with our security.
thank you. Any other questions? You did good, thank you.
I wouldn't go too far. We got one more.
All right, those in favor of the iPad purchase for the kindergartners, if you'd raise your hand. And that carries 9-0. Next is the ninth grade Chromebooks. That will be 1,400 units from Trafera. I believe we've used those folks before. This includes their white glove service, which they pre-install several apps and software. You get asset tags, etching. There are some charging carts, I think 46 charging carts included, and all of these are funded through technology fees, and that amount is $446,855.50. That does come from committee, recommended for approval. Any questions or discussion? All righty, those in favor of the Chromebooks for ninth grade, if you raise your hand. That carries 9-0. Next is the Microsoft EES agreement. That is basic subscription to Windows products, Office, server solutions, things of that sort. This is the second year of a 3-year agreement, and that total is $84,610.61. Does come from committee, recommended for approval. Any questions or discussion on that? Mr. Blunt?
No, I'm just voting.
Oh. You must be wanting to get home and see the ball game, voting quick.
No, I want to get down to another part of this meeting.
All right. Hearing no questions, those in favor of the Microsoft agreement, if you'd raise your hand. That carries 9-0. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Dr. Fisher, will you present anything on Restart? As long as you don't go through all 70 slides that you included in the packet.
Oh, okay. No, I don't have anything to add that wasn't in the information. We do request the renewal of the James Love Elementary Restart application, and we recommend allowing Washington Elementary and Township 3 Elementary to submit an initial application to become a Restart school. We are requesting flexibility in the area of school calendar, financial flexibility, licensure flexibility, and I believe that's it.
I think those are the three
Okay.
things. All right, that comes from committee recommended for approval. Any questions on the Restart applications? All right, those in favor, if you'd raise your hand. That carries 9-0. Lastly, we have the personnel report. That's our standard personnel report with substitutes and our standard personnel report. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Fitch. Second by Mr. Bridges. Those in favor, if you'd raise your hand. And that carries 9-0. There was no Educational Programs Committee meeting. The next Educational Programs Committee will meet Friday, February 2nd at 10:30. Next will be Operations. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The January Operations Committee meeting was called to order by Chairman Greg Taylor. Dr. Jennifer Wampler and Chip Childers provided capital projects report for review by the committee. The committee discussed the report. This report will be attached to the board's agenda in January as an informational item. Dr. Wampler shared a request from Duke Energy for an easement to install a regulator bank near the baseball field of Crest High School and Old Bowling Springs Road. The maintenance staff has no issues with this request and supports the easement. The easement agreement is standard and has been reviewed by the board attorney with no issues. The committee unanimously recommends the approval of this easement. Mr. Childers and Dr. Wampler shared a request to renovate the HVAC controls at Union Elementary School using public school building repair and renovation funds. Multiple bids were received, and the low bid by ECS is recommended for approval at a cost of $787,500. The committee unanimously recommended this project for approval by the full board. Dr. Daniel Sherman updated the committee on the HVAC ESSER projects at our high schools. These projects are on schedule. Shelby High's switchboard was installed over the Christmas break and is in progress. The HVAC control upgrade for Malcolm Brown Auditorium will start in February. The press box projects are underway at both Burns and Crest High schools. The old press boxes have been fully demoed and footings have started at Burns High. Weather will be the determining factor in the schedule of the footing work at Burns and Crest. The work is on schedule. Auditorium projects are nearing completion and are on schedule. Grand opening events for both are being scheduled. Ginger Jackson provided a technology update. Technology is currently working on the technology portion of the high school HVAC projects and auditorium by installing equipment and cables. Jamie Courier provided a child nutrition update. The cafeteria has planned some special lunches for students. The cafeteria staff has planned some special lunches for students to celebrate the Chinese New Year and Super Bowl. They have applied for the equipment assistance grant again and are working on plans for the summer feeding program. Documents were shared related to various issues under new business. The comments were directed at district staff and created a disruption in the meeting. Staff and other committee members intervened and redirected the meeting focus. With no additional business, the meeting was adjourned. The next Operations Committee meeting is scheduled for Friday, February 2nd, 2024 at 12 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Bland.
I asked for the minutes to be put on that board, what took place. I'm not going to call any names, what took place, but there was nothing directed at anyone. I was the one that's doing the talking. I do not have anything against our private schools, our Christian schools. our,
What's your point of order, Mr. Shores?
What does this have to do with Christian schools and this meeting?
this is what we has done, and it was left out of the minutes of what got said, and it got disrupted. That's what it has to do with it.
Well, it's been explained before that our minutes and reports are not transcripts of what take place. They're a
But
general-
that's there, you cannot read not one word in there that tell that what anything that was said.
There was no
Well-
action taken on that, so
Well,
try to move along and keep it.
okay. So I was elected to work for Cleveland County Schools, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. To try to help get the best education for our children in this county. But I also are going to protect the taxpayers of Cleveland County to the best of my ability as long as I'm on here. And if I'm not on here, I'll be standing out there talking if I don't feel.
Are we running for office, or are we?
No, I'm not running. I'm not up for election, sir.
Mr. Blanton, your talk is campaign related. Please keep it to the minutes of the Operations Committee meeting.
Okay, if we're going to have these committee meetings and not have a workshop and it be out for the public where it's going to be transparent, then I say that it needs to be come back to a workshop and we have our meetings
All
in the
committee
middle.
meetings or public meetings are properly noticed. They've been noticed for months on end.
Well, it also says we're supposed to keep accurate minutes where you can tell what went on, and
is
it
a
was
general
not
account,
happening.
and do you have any other comments on the minutes?
Well, when are we going to start taking accurate minutes enough to tell what went on?
Mr. Blanton, and it's been explained to you, if you have any recommendations of what's wrong or what to change, you're welcome to bring those.
Well, I brought it. I told
All
them.
you
There
do
wasn't
is
nothing
say it's
said.
inaccurate, but you don't bring anything prepared. So anything else, any other questions?
What I
Discussion?
said was not inaccurate.
Well, we're moving along. We have two action items under Operations Committee. First is the Union County, the Union Elementary Heating and Air Project. This will be new controls for that building. Will be with a company called ECS. That total is $787,500. That does include contingency. This comes from the Public School Building Repair and Renovation Fund. That is a fund established by the state. They put a certain amount of monies in that account for us each year, and so we are requesting from that. This does come from committee recommended for approval. Any questions or discussion on the controls project?
Can that just be used for controls? That money or
The fund could
anything?
probably, it could be used for any building repair and renovation. We submitted that, staff submitted that because it fit within the amount of money we had.
Okay, all right.
Kind of spend
Do
it
we
as
have
much of
any
it-
heating and air conditioning needs there that is more concerned there than the controls? Did I say that correctly?
I would
That
think
we need to address?
The controls are the number one thing. The current controls, I don't remember the company name, but they're obsolete. And I think Pete has patched that thing together just to keep it working.
Not
I think given the budget in the restoration funds and our maintenance priorities, union and the controls are the top priority for us to move forward with.
Because we're working through the other elementaries. We've done number 3. Seems like we did Bowling Springs not too long ago. So we're working through those elementaries.
Union was next on the list, yes, sir.
Yep. All right, any other questions or discussion on the controls project? Those in favor, if you'd raise your hand. That carries 9-0. Next is a Duke Energy easement. This is at Crest High School. It will be between the outfield fence and Crest Road. It's a two-pole regulator bank, and they need easement from us to install that. Does come from committee recommended for approval. Any questions on that easement request?
I got a question now.
On the easement?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we, by us doing all the construction over there, are we going to have any issues any time that road might have to get shifted or something or other, and this will be affected and then we've up and gave this easement away?
Well, I hope the road doesn't go that direction because then it would be encroaching on the baseball field. So
Well,
I can't imagine anything ever being built.
okay.
on the side, so. And the easement has been reviewed by our board council, and it's ready to go. Those in favor, if you'd raise your hand. That carries 9-0. The policy committee has not met since our last board meeting. The next policy committee meeting will be Tuesday, January 30th at noon. However, we do have 3 policies that were on the agenda for first read last month, so they're on the agenda for approval this month. The first is Policy 4110, Immunization and Health Requirements for School Admission. Policy 4040/7310, Staff and Student Relations. And Policy 4342, Student Seizures. Those do come from committee recommended for approval. Any questions on those policies? Those in favor? All 3 are recommended for approval, so we'll take all 3 if there's not any objections. So those in favor, you raise your hand. Okay. That carries 9-0. There has not been a safety committee meeting since our last board meeting, but the next one will be Tuesday, January 30th at noon. Next is our administrative update. Dr. Fisher.
Mr. Chair, would you like to take the calendar proposals first or superintendent update first?
I'll let you pick.
All right, let's take the calendar update proposals first, if you don't mind. So we discussed last month about the 2024, 2025, and the 2025, 2026 school calendar proposals. Those proposals have not changed since we met in January. There was some discussion about some flexibility that may have been in the budget bill. That flexibility did not really apply to us. It was really about remote days at a high school, and you know, even if we were selected for that, that's not really of keen interest to us and doesn't really relate to the calendars. So you've seen that information. Be glad to try to answer any questions about option 1, 2, or 3. One being a traditional start, or not, excuse me, one being an early start, balanced calendar. The other options are a traditional start and a unbalanced calendar, and then the traditional start and end the semester in January.
To summarize that, that's calendar, option 1 is what we have now.
That's correct.
Mr. Spurlock.
Question. We have the privilege of having Dr. Hurst here, and I don't know if this is appropriate. I don't know if he can do this, but I think it'd be a good opportunity between Dr. Fisher and if Dr. Hurst would participate to explain the effects of the offset of the calendars between dealing with CCP between the college and CCS.
Be glad to highlight that and be glad to give Dr. Hurst the opportunity to add anything that he would like to. So the college typically starts right around the 15th. And so as closely as we can align our semester to that, it makes sense. So our kids, our students are not in school without a CCP class. And we're just sitting them in there and technically babysitting for a while until their CCP class starts. Obviously also a CCP class starting before we start is not a good option either. And if his calendar starts the 15th and we don't start till the 26th, then that creates issues. Either those classes start and our kids aren't in school, well, that doesn't work. And you know, Dr. Hurst highlighted some of the challenges that we've worked through, and the calendar, the lack of calendar alignment, in my opinion, is one of the bigger challenges that we've worked through, because it just doesn't make sense. And our students need to be in school, taking their CCP classes along with their traditional high school courses. The busing option really struggles with that. And as a professor, if you're teaching, you know, 1 or 2 what I would call traditional college classes with traditional college students, and then you're teaching a CCP class, your schedule's off, and that creates staffing, faculty issues for his team, especially, you know, if we don't. If we have the semester change in January, as a college, you've already changed, you know, rolled the semester, and our kids are still in first semester there. The alignment just is not there. In my humble opinion, the biggest attribute to calendar flexibility for the local LEA is the alignment with the community college. You know, I understand the idea of finishing the semester before Christmas. I understand the test data. I get it. I'm gonna give you some test data in just a minute that's gonna put a smile on your face. But the biggest attribute to calendar flexibility in option one is the alignment with the community college. I would say, and I don't want to speak for Dr. Hurst, Dr. Hurst, you're more welcome to come and do your comments, but I think that is one of the major barriers over the last 2 or 3 years that we've been able to clear, and we have seen growth since then. I think if the calendars do not align, then that creates, it will impact CCP numbers. And while, you know, one could say, well, you know, why doesn't Dr. Hurst and the trustees change their calendar? Well, you know, we're 35% plus or minus the college. So he's got other students that he has to account for. You know, all of our students, or as many as we can, are taking CCP classes. So, you know, while it is, you know, give and take, and there is currently give and take on lots of things we do, that's one of those things where it is easier for us to adjust our calendar than for the community college to adjust theirs. So, Dr. Hurst, anything you want?
One thing I would add is I missed a great opportunity to leave a few minutes ago.
You can take care of Walter tomorrow when he gets to
I'll
work.
see you tomorrow. You know, in line with that, I think whatever this board decides to do will be the absolute perfect decision. Those are my only two thoughts right now. We have much of the struggle with CCP has been the lack of alignment of the calendars. And it's been a real struggle. There's no question about it. It's not been good for students. It's not been good for faculty and staff. It's been significant struggles to try to make it all happen without the calendars being aligned. We have very little flexibility with what we can do, the community college system. You know, you've got to get so many instructional days in. You know, you can't start before a certain date. We have some similar parameters that you guys have. We're not, I don't think, quite as restricted, but any way that we can find to align the calendars, it will absolutely benefit our students. And that's what it's all about. And I know those are tough decisions that you guys have to make, but the lack of alignment is disruptive.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll say one other thing. As you know, over time, we have seen more and more early graduation students that graduate, finish their high school requirements in 3.5 years. And the students that are on track, they're doing academically what they're supposed to do. A lot of our students finish their high school core classes in 3.5 years. And so we consider those early graduates. If you notice on a lot of the data I send you, sometimes it'll have the number of early graduates for high school. Years ago, we had very few of those, and now we'll have over 100 early graduates. Those early graduates that finished at high school in December now can go to the community college. They can go to any college university and enroll, but they can go to the community college. And since they started the year with us, they can still go to the community college for free that spring. And they can take courses all there. So if they say, I'm finished with high school, I've got my required credits, I'm a graduate of Crest High School, but I'm going to go finish, I'm going to take all spring entirely on Dr. Hurst's campus, they can do that for free. And if the schedules don't overlap, it makes that more difficult. So the alignment of schedules, I think, is paramount in what we would do. So we've got the calendar recommendations for you. You've got a copy of the resolution that we would also recommend that the board adopt the resolutions that provided for you last month. But we'd glad to try to answer any other questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other?
I would like, could one of the attorneys come here just a second? Mr. Sink, I just looked this up on Google, the word shall, and it says an imperative command usually indicating that certain actions are mandatory and not permissive. my law enforcement background, when I was interpreting law, and it said I shall do something, it maybe told me I didn't have a choice. Do you agree with this definition
I do, sir.
as a legal definition?
It means you have to.
So if a law says that you shall consult with parents and school personnel, it don't give you a choice, correct?
Shall, no choice, you have to.
Okay.
It's compulsory.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You got any further on? You're, I'm just making sure you were done.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Anybody else got any? So what we need is, I mean, we can continue to have discussion, but, well, before we do that, let's get a motion on the floor. Somebody needs to put a motion forward to pick one of the calendars.
Chairman, can we just to make sure we're all clear on what option 1, 2, and 3 are, can we please just say it one more time?
All right.
We can. So option one, and Ginger, Greg, can you pull those back up? They're on last month's agenda. They may be linked to this one as well. Can you pull those calendars up?
Hey, I've lost my battery and I can't hear what's going on. And somebody's done thought I had a recorder up here with my hearing piece, and my batteries went dead, and it's my hearing piece, and I can't hear you. I didn't even hear you. It went dead.
The light's on.
Well, it might have been on, but it's dead. I can't hear.
I'll try to talk loud.
Well, they're bringing batteries, I
They're
think.
bringing batteries. So, Mr. Spurling, while they're looking to get that, option one, there we go. So draft A, option one, has a start date of Wednesday, the 13th. If we scroll down, it has we finished first semester there on December 19th. It has a balanced, or as balanced as we could really get with an 86-day semester, first semester. Second semester starts after Christmas, just like very similar to what we have this year. Our last student day is Wednesday, May 27th. That's for a 178-day calendar. Again, 86 days the first day, and then I think 92 ends up being second semester. So pretty close to being balanced.
So that option is the one where they take their finals right before or right after the holidays.
They take their finals right before holidays.
Before the
Scroll up
holidays,
till December. They would take their exams the week of December 15th.
Yep.
Would be exam week. That aligns with the community college. The difference in draft A, and then if you scroll up to draft B, scroll all the way up to draft C, if you don't mind. Draft C, I'm sorry, go down to draft B. Go back up, I apologize. Draft B, it finishes the semester before Christmas as well. But we don't start till the 26th. So when you look there at the end of the semester, that's only a 79-day semester. So what happens, that shrinks that semester so much, first semester, you really have an inequitable semesters between first and second. The other thing this one does is second semester aligns with the community college pretty well, but first semester does not align because our school year starts on the 26th there, and the college starts, a week and a half earlier on the 14th. So we still have, in the fall, we have, Dr. Hurst would have staffing issues in the fall because of lack of alignment there.
I got one more question. The B shrinks the first semester to 79 days. How many days would that put into the second semester, do you know?
About 99.
100 and, like 99.
I think it's 99.
99?
Yeah.
All right, but we get the hours in, it can be days or hours, 1,000 hours, is that correct?
It's 1,025 instructional hours, but we're talking about two entirely different things, okay? When we're talking about days in the semester, we're talking about the days that a high school kid has in that class. We're not worried about the hours. We're gonna meet the hours regardless. The hours are what you do in a year. But that semester course, if you take biology first semester and only has 79 days, and I take biology second semester and I have 99 days, that's an issue. That's not necessarily fair.
That's 20 days.
But between that, also, if we're students, but if I'm teaching a biology class with an EOC and you're teaching a biology class with an EOC, sign me up for the 99 days, not the 79 days. So it creates issues from an accountability standpoint, not having the semesters aligned. So within a couple days is one thing. Typically, if you miss school for winter weather, it's in the spring. So if you have one that's a little bit higher in the spring, it's better to have a little higher. But to have a difference of 20 days, that creates, I believe, some long-term implications for potentially for the district and the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
in what's in the best interest of the children in Cleveland County, I make a motion we adopt draft A.
For both school years?
Yes.
Okay.
A second.
Can I make a comment real fast?
That was Mr. Spurlin? Yes, sir, Mr. Reed.
And so I just want to just kind of talk about this for a moment. Calendar A also, as you brought the attorney up here, it does break the law, right? It is going to break the calendar law if we vote for A.
That's, I guess,
Not-
up to interpretation.
Yeah,
because-
95% of the parents, and that's why I called him up here.
Right.
95% of the
I
parents
understand.
want it to end.
I
So if
agree.
we don't listen to the parents
Right.
and follow that, which part of the law do we break?
And I understand that, but we sat up here during the summer and we said we were going to follow code of ethics, and breaking the law is code of ethics. We reprimanded board members for not following code of ethics. And listen, I'm all about a balanced calendar. I want to make sure our kids and teachers get the best, but I can't sit up here in good faith this year and vote to break the law for a calendar when we just said over the summer that we're all going to follow the code of ethics. I want what's best for the school system, but I'm not voting for it tonight.
But part of the law is following what the parents say. So you're going to be breaking that part.
Can I speak?
I'm just not going to show the example to our kids that we're going to just pick and choose what laws we follow. And I'm not campaigning. I'm just saying.
Point of order.
No, you can't come point of order on the subject.
Hold on. I've asked to speak next.
I agree.
Mr. Did you get finished?
I'm just saying, I want what's best for the school system, but I'm not going to vote to break the law this year. I just can't do it. Not when we reprimanded school board members for not following the code of ethics. I want what's best, but I'm not voting for it tonight. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I want to,
Mr. Beard?
I want to go along with what Aaron said here. Our code of ethics, it does say that, we need to do what's best for the kids. However, if you read the code of ethics, it says that we're to follow the state and federal laws. So in order for me to follow the state and federal laws, since I was reprimanded back in May and had to redo the code of ethics says I'm to follow the state and federal laws, which means I'm going to have to do that. And back in August, we got a letter warning us from the School Board Association that we had broke the law by starting early. Now, this came from the state.
Right here's the letter.
So, I agree 100%. We should line up. But I'm not going to break the code of ethics that I had to redo just to satisfy what's going on here. I'm going to follow the law, and I'm going to vote no against this. It's going to have to be on the state-approved date for me.
Chairman.
Mr. Spurlin?
Jonathan or Leah. You pretty familiar with our code of ethics?
I am.
Are you? Okay. And I agree with Mr. Grigg. It does say we will follow state and federal law, correct?
Correct.
It does. But doesn't it also say we will do what is best for the students?
There is something to that effect in the code of
Okay.
ethics.
Does it say anything about, let's see, where does it say, we publish the calendars, and we allow the public to vote, and somewhere it tells us, I don't know if it's in the Code of Ethics, but we are supposed to support what our community says do. Is that?
You mean publish the calendars in terms of committee meetings?
Yeah, we published the three options that we have here and allowed our community to vote on it, correct?
Well, and I think that's part of what Mr. Shores is saying.
Right.
Within 115C 84.2, the shall, that engagement with parents and families.
That's right. So I would say one part of our ethics does say follow state and federal law. Another part of our ethics and the law says we will do our best for our students, and we'll do our best for our community. So I have a hard time, listen, military, I used to tell my guys, you follow the regulation until it's changed.
Point of order. What is point of order? The military has nothing to do with the calendar.
It has to do with my experience. Can I finish, Chairman? It has to do with my experience.
Keep it to the calendar.
Okay, so if it says two different conflicting things, there's a conflict. Which part of it should we follow? Should we do the best for the students and our community, or should we follow the law? Because they're conflicting. They say two different things.
Well, and you're asking two questions in one. One of your questions is a policy determination. The other question is, effectively, do these violate the law? And if it's the will of the board for me to answer that question, I will.
Are you finished with your statement?
I would like to hear his answer if it's okay with the chairman.
Well, that's going to, well, attorney advice needs to be done in closed session. So. All right. Mr. Blanton had his hand raised. Everybody gets to speak one time before we go our second round. We'll limit it to 2 rounds. Mr. Blanton.
Well, I got censored for breaking the ethics. And I missed some very good graduations participation for me not assuming that I didn't follow the ethics. Assuming. I think that's the way that's said. Wasn't for sure. Assumed. I have pushed this calendar to match up with the college and isothermal and our other colleges from day one. I even went around and carried a resolution for our whole county to sign around. And every county in every one that I carried it to, except for the city of Shelby, signed it. And we sent it to Raleigh. There's nothing more than I want. But if I'm going to get censored, and Ronnie Gregg's going to get censored, get me a clear date on that law. Are we breaking the law? If you have to call Raleigh and we put this off and call another meeting tomorrow, I'll be here in the morning at 6 o'clock if you want me to, or 4:30. You get Raleigh and the Senate, because the House has approved it. 100, I believe it was 100 to it wasn't but 2 people that didn't vote for it in the House. The Senate's the one that is not pushing to align this. They won't let it off the rules table. So everybody in the state of North Carolina needs to get on the telephone and call our senators. Or otherwise, then this code of ethics that we've got, it needs to be thrown in a waste basket in a 55-gallon drum and set it on fire, because we're not following it. Period. I'm done.
Hold on. Mr. Taylor, you haven't had a chance to speak. Do you have anything? Mr.
I'd like
Fitch?
to say something. The way I read the law is very contradictory. The law basically In one paragraph of it, it tells you to follow the state and federal law, and then the next paragraph, it tells you to seek what your community wants to do. Coming from law enforcement, the way you make case law is to challenge laws that have it's contradictory. That's the way you get things changed. I think we need to challenge, because we will be following part of the law, we will be breaking other law, but if we don't follow this part, we're going to break this part. So either way, we're going to break the law. So either way, you break the law on this, and the way you get laws changed is called case law. You send it on up, and if they want to challenge it, let the Supreme Court decide which way we need to go on this. Because what they give us, what North Carolina's giving us now, is contradicting the law. So either way y'all guys vote for it, you're going to break the law. You read the law. You're going to break it either way you go.
Please address the chair.
So you're going to break it however you vote right now until we challenge Raleigh to make a decision on the law. And what is it? Is it get the will of the people, or is it the state and federal law? Both ways, you're going to break the law. And I come from a law enforcement background, 29 years. Trust me, you're going to break the law either way. So I say let's do what's best for our people here in Cleveland County, and let's give them an early start. Let's align the college and let Raleigh figure that out, because the law's contradicted. That's all I have.
Mr. Humphries, do you have anything?
Excuse me. So, Jonathan, I didn't bring 115C with me, but at the very beginning of 115C, the duties of the board in 115C, one of the first things it says, can you not hear me? I'm sorry. That's about all.
One of the first things it says in 115C 84.2
is the purpose of the board is to take care of the education of the children.
in the very beginning.
In the very beginning, that's the top priority, is focus on the education of the children. Okay. So then we get to the calendar law, which was enacted in, God, I can't remember what year, but at any rate, so that the people down east could maintain their child labor down there and circumvent child labor laws.
Thank you.
So, and this date that we're talking about, how many parts of the calendar law are there? There's a number of.
About 4 substantive paragraphs within the calendar law.
Right.
There's more than that, but substantively about 4.
About 4. Okay, so the date is one aspect of that. As Mr. Blanton pointed out, the House has overwhelmingly voted to overturn this mess. We have a Rules Committee chair that has a girlfriend that owns businesses on the East Coast that would like to maintain her child labor law. So, when I've been sick for about a month, I'll just say what I think. So, turning into you, Danny. So it puts, and as Joel pointed out, there's ambiguity in the calendar law itself. We're told to do this, but we're told to do that. And we're told to get the input of the public, to follow it, and then we're told not to. So that's ambiguous. So we can sit here and discuss who's breaking what law, which way, whatever. At the end of the day, nobody can determine what laws are being broken or not being broken but a judge. Is that correct?
Well, the judge would be the final arbiter of it, that's right.
Right, okay.
Again,
So,
I'm happy and willing to opine on it, but also understand if you want legal counsel in closed only.
so that leaves me in a situation where, okay, there's ambiguity here, but I know for a fact the state law says I'm supposed to look out for the education of the children. That's my number one. As a board member, that's pretty much really all I'm supposed to do, is focus strictly on the education of the children. The other stuff's trivial. That's important. So I can't see, but I don't have a choice. But, I mean, we saw a great presentation on the CCP. We saw how much money that saves parents in Cleveland County. I mean, we're talking about millions of dollars by being able to line this calendar up. So, yeah, I mean, justice has to be balanced, right? So, to me, the scale's balanced toward, if we have to miss a date a little bit, that's fine. it's more important that the students have the opportunity for the education in my mind. And I'm not telling anybody else, I'm just saying what I think, and that's it. I'll never try to tell anybody else how, I don't care how they vote, that's their personal decision. They have to sleep with themselves tonight, I don't. But just, Mr. Chairman, so in my mind, I'm going to support option A for that very reason. I think it's in the best interest of the education of the children of Cleveland County, period. Okay, thank you.
I'm going to try to remember and go in the same order, so Mr. Shores, I think you spoke
Well,
first.
I guess I agree with Mr. Fitch. Whichever way we go, we're going to break the law. I've got a copy of the law. Let me read this part to you. It says, local boards and individual schools are encouraged to use the calendar flexibility in order to meet the annual performance standards set by the school board. Local boards of education shall consult with parents and the employed public school personnel in the development of a school calendar. That's what the law says. So 94% of the people that were surveyed want the semester to end before Christmas break. Could it be argued from a legal standpoint that if you took everything the parents and school personnel said away, could it be argued that we broke the law?
I would encourage against hypotheticals, because again, as you stated, until this goes before a judge, it can't be determined, and I'm saying that to help you out.
Well, I guess I'm saying at the end of the day, we're elected by the people and by the parents, and the law says do what they say. We must do what they say.
Mr. Bridges?
Again, I'm not against our school having a balanced calendar. And yeah, the law says this or this or this, but it is the law. It says don't start school before this, and I'm just not going to stand up here and teach our kids, hey, we're going to break this law because we don't agree with it. I'm just not going to do it this year. We need to do whatever we need to do to get legislation passed to change that law. And I don't care either way, we break it this way or this way, I'm not voting for it. I'm sorry. I hate it. I want what's best for our school system, but I'm not going to break the law.
Mr. Grigg, did you have something further?
Yeah, I kind of want to look at it like this. If I'm riding down the road and the guy sitting beside him, he tells me to run a stoplight, and I run the stoplight, who's going to be the one that's charged for running that stoplight? And it's sort of the same thing here. We've already gotten a letter from the state telling us that we violated the law, that we broke the law. We didn't follow the policy. So, regardless of what Mr. Fitch is saying, I have to go with what I got the letter on, and that is to follow the law. So, there's no other way for me to do it, because I'm going to be the one that's punished in the end if I don't follow it. Not the parents and not the other people that go along with it here or don't go along with it. It's going to be me. So I don't have a choice but to say no to it this time.
And and I'll just say, because there's a couple that kind of hinted at maybe wanting me, I'll just say it like this. I have a very strong and clear legal opinion that I'd be happy to share with you in closed session. It sounds like is the will of the board.
Mr. Bryant?
Sir.
I got one question. Are they any way, because you are supposed to give this board the advice of what's right or wrong. Is that correct?
What's legal?
Legal advice.
Right.
Can you give us your opinion? Are we breaking the law or are we not breaking the law? Bam, boom.
I'm happy to give you
What
my
legal-
opinion.
Legal advice is bound to closed session. That could open up a whole set of entertaining legal advice in a public setting. We're not going to set that precedent.
Okay.
Mr. Spurling, do you have anything?
I do, just very quickly. I think Mr. Fitch said it a lot better than I did. I was trying to get to that point. But I think either way we go, you break the law. It says you shall do what the public wants and what's best for the kids. And then in contradicting, it says you gotta follow this date. And I think it's a viewpoint. If I'm going to do if I'm looking at this law and it's contradictory, then I'm gonna have to go against a part of the law either way I go, then I'm gonna go on the side of my community. I'm gonna go on the side of our college and those students that are earning degrees and if they want to, and if I get censored, then so be it. My conscience says I did what was best for my community and my students, not what was best for my state lawmakers.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Fitch?
I don't have anything else. I think I said all.
All right. I think we're good for you, Mr. Saint. I'll just add, since, everyone's given an opinion pretty much for the way they're voting, this has been a tough decision over the years. I've been asked, why don't you try to get the law changed? I went back and looked at session law for the last 3 terms, and it's been a while since I did this, so hopefully my memory's correct, but I think there have been 152 local or statewide bills to get the calendar law changed since 2017. Then I looked at school districts that those proposed laws applied to, and Cleveland County Schools, and there were 2 others, were the leading 3 schools. So 8 of those applied to Cleveland County Schools. So we have tried. And I think Mr. Fitch said it best, that things get changed with case law. We've tried, we've appealed. Sometimes you have to pick the fight to get things changed. And I'm willing to pick the fight on this one. So I think we've been 2 rounds. We have a motion on the floor to accept draft A. We've had a motion and a second. And so everybody's clear on what option A is. That is a calendar that is basically what we have now. And that is for the 24-25 and 25-26 school years. Those in favor of draft A, if you'd raise your hand. Mr. Taylor, which way were you? Okay. Those opposed? So that carries 6-3.
It's not because I want to.
There was also a resolution on the calendar included in our packet. What's the pleasure of the board as far as adopting that resolution?
So moved.
All right, motion by Mr. Taylor.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fitch. Any questions on the resolution?
Can I clarify which one that was going to be? I made some suggestions to add to the.
Those included your
Okay.
recommendations. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
Any questions on the resolution? We've adopted similar resolutions in the past.
Mr. Queen, okay, Mr. Shores noted some changes. Is that illustrated in this dated December 23rd? Okay.
Yes.
My motion stands.
All right, those in favor of the resolution, if you'd raise your hand. Any opposed? That carries 6-3. Dr. Fisher, I think you have a few more updates.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, just a few updates tonight. First, just reminders that many of these things were mentioned in the committee reports. Really appreciate the work of the committees as this information is getting out a couple times during our meeting. Just a reminder that state teacher supplement, PRC 071, that is a state-funded teacher supplement, is going out at the end of January. Teachers with 15 years or more get the max there. Teachers under 14 years or less have an equal share of that balance. So that information pay is going out at the end of this month. State teacher performance bonus information, again, was highlighted in the committee report. We have 135 teachers that are getting performance bonus money. That is up from last year. I believe last year's data was 127 teachers that got performance data. You can get performance data with growth status in reading and math, or some CTE or AP scores. So our teachers are earning, those 135 teachers are earning just a little over $300,000 in performance money that has been spread out over those teachers. Some of those 135 teachers are getting multiple bonuses because some of them teach, fourth grade reading and fourth grade math, so they're getting a bonus. So they may get a bonus for being a top 25% of the local growth and top 25% of the state. So I think that number is 198 different bonuses that are going out but 135 teachers. Again, that performance bonus is state information, state guidelines, and that will go out in their January checks. It was mentioned in operations about ongoing capital projects update, our HVAC projects at our high schools continuing to be on schedule. Auditoriums are being on schedule. Probably within the next 30 to 60 days, we'll have dates for open houses for those events, for those auditoriums. Press box restroom facilities at Burns and Crest, as you heard in the operations update, they have begun. Inclement weather that we're anticipating tomorrow will probably slow that progress down, but those projects have started. High school end-of-course exams. Our high school exams are right before Christmas. Some really good news for you. Our fall scores are higher. Now let me take a minute just to talk about fall scores. Fall scores from year to year, it's good to compare those. They're not great comparisons. It's really a little bit of an apples to oranges comparison because school A this fall may have 3 honors classes and 3 regular classes, and in the following year they had only 1 honors class and 5 regular classes. So it can differ, but it is still a good comparison as a benchmark of where we're at, especially when you compare as a district. And so as a district, we see an over 14% increase in EOC performance from fall of 2020 to fall of 23. Now, at the spring data, when the spring comes in, all those things even out, and so we'll be able to get a better indication. But that is a really good indication of some improvements we're seeing in our high school EOCs. Math 1 and Math 3 had the most significant increase in performance testing there. So really good things to report. Appreciate the work of all of our high school administrators and teachers and students. A couple other quick things. The second semester began January 4th. It's hard to believe we're halfway through the school year, but entering in that second semester. Calendar update, Martin Luther King holiday is Monday, January 15th. Schools are closed for students and staff that day. Budget process is January, so that budget process for the 24-25 budget is underway. Our budget proposal is due to the county commissioners in May. You can expect to see a draft budget probably in April, but definitely in May for your approval to send to the commissioners. Again, you have information that was talked about in the Finance Personnel Committee on that budget. That process is underway. January is Board of Education Appreciation Month, and we do Leadership Matters. Your leadership is important. What you're doing in our district and advocating for schools, advocating for our district, really being the head cheerleader, if you will, in terms of what's going on in our school districts and leading the way with positivity, encouragement to staff, and setting that mission and vision for what we're trying to do in our school system. So really appreciate your leadership, what you mean for our school district. I know we have lots of events, and it seems like in December we had an event on every day. But really appreciate your attendance at events, your support of those things. I know your schedule sometimes get in the way of being able to attend that, but I know our staff likes to see those events. We're starting a little program internally, and stealing from ESPN Sports Center, talking about best thing I've seen today, and highlighting my best thing that I saw that we reported in our last executive team meeting was just the graduation here in December. Students that were in school to work, turning point, that really had probably made the decision they weren't going to get a high school diploma because of the hard work and dedication of our staff, our students, just the relentless pursuit of success for those students. We had 20-some students that graduated with a diploma that night. Heard a couple times from parents or family members saying, I didn't think, student would get here. I never thought we'd see that day. And that is rewarding, seeing students get that high school diploma, give themselves a chance to be successful in their world. So really appreciate the Board of Education, their leadership. The last update I have is a little bit of old news. It's about probably maybe 45 minutes old. School is closed tomorrow for students and staff. 10 and 11-month staff, 12-month staff has the option to work, but we will be changing that calendar due to the inclement weather that is being projected tomorrow, high winds and high rain. So we work with county officials to get an updated forecast, and Obviously, with the high winds and bus transportation can be a challenge. So school is closed tomorrow for students and staff. The message has gone out, an email out, so that's old news as of right now. But, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have today.
All right, thank you, Dr. Fisher.
Right.
Mr. Bryant?
Yes. Was there not any way that we could tell how much money that those 14-plus years and under that was going to get?
Yes, sir. And so when we get closer, Mr. Blanton, we'll have that amount that we'll send
Well,
out.
is it not on the computer or push a button how many people they are with their years of service?
No, sir.
That's not on there?
No, sir, because the employee list may change between now and the end of the month. So if I give you a number right now, it may be accurate, but it may not be accurate at the end of the month.
Well, what about them at 16 years and under? That could be the same thing.
No, sir, that's not. If on the committee report, it was clear that those teachers are getting the max. 15 years above and above are getting the max amount the state sets. And Cleveland County Schools gets a total of over $2 million. So we'll take the number of teachers that we have that are eligible, that have 15 years of experience or more, give them the max. We'll take that number times the max, and we'll get a number. We'll take that number and subtract it from our allotment. And whatever that is the remaining amount that we have to split of teachers with 0 to 14 years experience. So we'll take that total and divide it by those number of teachers. We can give you an estimate of what that would look like, but until we're able to go back through and say, well, you know, this teacher left, this teacher retired, this teacher left, that you know, with 2,000 employees, that number changes. And so to give you an exact amount, I can give you the amount for 15 years or more because we have that set, but that other number can change slightly.
Does teachers' assistants that's required to have the 2-year degree or whatever, they don't get anything?
They don't get any of this. This is money that was designated out of the state budget for teacher supplements.
Okay.
Yeah, that designation came from the state.
Yes, sir. Now, we set our rules for that. And so what we decided and recommended to the board, and the board approved, if you remember, is we approved that if you have 15 years or more, you get the maximum amount. And then under 14 years or up, we could give everybody an equal share. We could divide it into however many. But this process that we've used has been very successful the last couple of years and has been well received because if you go back to the state budget typically gives higher percentage raises for those at the bottom of the scale. So this was an opportunity for us to reward folks for longevity and being here in the district. One more piece of information that may not matter to you, but I think it's important, is this is paid on their license years of experience. So if they have 5 years experience in Cleveland County and 20 somewhere else, it is paid on their license. So whatever the experience is on their license is where they fall in this. It doesn't how much time they have in Cleveland County or how much they have somewhere else. It's how much they own their license.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question, Chairman? Quick. Dr. Fisher, you said there was a 14% increase in scores in the fall.
Efficiency, yes, sir.
Could you contribute that to our new calendar?
I think that has it is one of the impacts, but yes, I believe an aligned calendar helps academic performance, no doubt.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is public participation. Mr. Shores, if you do the rules of engagement.
Yes, public comment should not address any specific confidential student or personnel matter. Specific concerns related to confidential student or personnel matters should be directed to the superintendent or designee. Comments must be relative to matters that are within the authority of the board. Speaker shall refrain from personal attacks or threats towards staff, elected board members, or members of the public. Speakers shall be courteous in their language and presentations. Insults, profanity, use of vulgar language or gestures, or other inappropriate behavior are not allowed. The board vests in its chair or the presiding officer authority to terminate the remarks of any individual when he or she does not adhere to the rules established above. Any person who willfully interrupts or disturbs the board meeting may be directed to leave the meeting by presiding officer. Any person who refuses to leave may be prosecuted for disrupting the public meeting. Persons appearing before the board are reminded as a point of information that the members of the Cleveland County Board of Education are without authority to act independently on individuals in official matters. Immediate answers are not generally possible and must be deferred pending investigation and consideration by the full board.
Thank you, Mr. Shores. We have two speakers that have signed up tonight. First is Robert Williams.
My name is Robert Williams. My address is 814 East Stagecoach Trail in Lawndale. Well, I'm disappointed in this school board that just the majority of you voted to break the law. It's disappointing that we have to break the law in the name of helping the children, and that's just totally backwards thinking. That's all I can say about that, just backwards thinking. During the meeting, I heard a lot of things, and I go to a lot of meetings, and I hear a lot of things at those meetings too. One of the things that about this CP program, I remember hearing that 20% of our students go to college, 80% of our students go to work. From what I heard in the discussion, our resources are 80% for the children that are going to college and maybe nothing for those to go to work. I think that's a little backwards too. And it reminds me that we've got about 20,000 people in Cleveland County that are on food stamps. Just because, this is what DSS says, that their work skills are not sufficient that they can get a job to pay their own bills without assistance. And I know before COVID, we had a program at the community college for some of those folks, those 20,000. And after COVID, I've never heard another word about it. I guess it just went away. And it seemed like we need, you know, if we're number one in work performance in the state, and we've got 20,000 people on food stamps because they're not trained enough to have good jobs, these numbers don't match. I don't know how anybody can explain it in a better way. These numbers don't match. Our work participation, and you know, you go to a budget hearing and they talk about the county's done this and the county's done that. And the last one I went to, the participation in the workforce was 61%.
Mr. Williams, your time's expired.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jeannie Barrett.
"15 months ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 large B cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had 16 cancerous tumors throughout my body. I am now disabled due to having surgery on my spine to remove one of the cancerous tumors. I was in a wheelchair for almost a year, a walker, and now I walk with a cane. I am in complete remission, but my gait and my balance will never be the same. I have wanted to attend the board meetings, but have not been able to due to the fact that the elevator in this building has been out of commission for over 2 months. The only way I was able to enter the building tonight is with the help of others getting me up the stairs. We will see how it goes going down the stairs. In the Disabilities Act, it is required that there is some kind of entrance into a building, even if it means building a temporary ramp to accommodate disabled people. It seems to me that the person who is in charge of the buildings throughout the system should have known this. This violates my rights as a disabled person, as it does with others with disabilities. If the one in charge cannot do their job, perhaps they need to be replaced with someone who does. The Disabilities Act is a federal law.
Next is our board member comments. Mr. Greer.
I just want to say that, you know, this school vote or school start date thing, you know, I do agree that we should start on an earlier time, but, you know, after reading the letter that came from the State Board of Education Association, it said that we were in violation of the law for the 2023-24 year. And it also says, I remind you, you have an obligation to obey the state and federal laws. It doesn't really give me any choice on that. You know, I was censured for what 6 board members claimed that I had broken code of ethics. And in their statements, they wanted me to reevaluate my code of ethics in May, which I did. So if I was to violate now by going along with the new start date, what kind of a person would I be? What kind of a person would I be? You know, I would have no integrity left, and I don't think it's fair to be put in a position where I'm told that either way you go, you're going to break the law. The law that I read is plain and simple, the state law. It hadn't been passed yet that we can start early. Now, we had hoped last year, when I voted to go along with the early start date, we had hoped that the law was going to change between then and now, but it still hasn't. So my reason for not going along with it this year, it's plain and simple. For a whole year, I was told that I was one of the only ones that violated any of the code of ethics. Well, as you see tonight, that's not true. Because 3 of us didn't violate the code of ethics. And either way you look at it, you know, you can say we didn't do this, we didn't do that. If you look at the law, what the law says, you actually did. So, with that being said, I'm done. Thank you.
Mr. Bridges. Mr. Taylor.
Let me study on it.
All right. Mr. Shore. No. Mr. Humphries. Mr. Blanton.
I got censored for breaking the code of ethics too. And I'm speaking about myself here because I missed something that I wanted to be a part of more than anything in my life was my granddaughter's graduation. That girl struggled her whole years till she graduated. And I want to thank CCC also in this because she come out of special needs, went into regular, even into college, and she left high school and she's at Tennessee right now in college, and she graduated with associate's degree from CCC. So I'm proud of that over there. But I got censored because I made a statement somebody should be held accountable. That's all I said. I got censored for 90 days for breaking the code of ethics. They assumed I broke the code of ethics. Is these other 6 going to get censored tonight for breaking the code of ethics? I'm here to protect every last child. That's what I voted for, that they get the best education. Yes, and I think that calendar needs to be changed. And if somebody will get behind me, I don't have a problem going to Raleigh. I don't know about these others. I'll go to Raleigh and I'll fight for these kids. I've done been told, you can't talk that way about the senator. Well, he puts his britches on just like I do. One leg at a time. This calendar law needs to be changed, but they're not going to use me breaking ethics tonight. So I want them to remember, if I do break the ethics, they better think about doing it again, censoring me, because I'm going to stand for what's best for this kid, for these children, and our tax dollars of Cleveland County till the day I die. Because I pay taxes just like everybody else in here. And I'm not campaigning, because I'm not up for no re-election, and might not even run next time. Can't never tell. But I'll keep fighting for these kids whether I'm on this board or not, because they're my number one goal, and our staff is my number two goal. And the taxpayers, they pay for what we do. We're supposed to be transparent to our people, and that's exactly what I've tried to do in my 14 years. To help everybody, I send them to the right direction of where they need to go. I think there are several people in here who can verify that. They say I get in the middle of something. You bet. But I send them to the point, if somebody calls me, I'm going to tell them, direct them the direction they need to go to try to get some help. And I will stand on that till the day I die. Thank you. I hope everybody in the world out there heard me. And if you don't like me the way I do and stand for people, put me out. Vote me out next time.
Mr. Spurgeon.
So I'm going to say one quick thing about. I'll finish when he's done.
Go ahead.
I'll say one thing about the calendar, and then I'm going to be done with that piece. Please censure me for standing up for the students in my community. There's a difference between being censured for standing up for your community and your students, and being censured for actually doing something you wasn't supposed to do. I'd like to say thank you to the chorus. I think they did a great job, and thank you to those teachers. You know, those teachers don't teach that kind of art in the regular hours. They go beyond what they have to do to teach our students things like that. I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Hurst for being here. I am a true believer in CTE. I am a true believer in CCP. I know firsthand that CTE and CCP benefits our students. It gets them jobs straight out of high school. It gets them jobs sometimes without an associate's degree, because the community college offers diplomas, certificates and diplomas and associate's degree. It gets them jobs when they graduate from high school with a degree, a certificate, a diploma, or an associate's degree. It puts them ahead getting a job here in our community. I know firsthand the community college has employers that like our programs, like their programs, like the CCP programs, and it does. It's a tremendous value and a head start for our students and our community. Thank you.
Mr. Fish.
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on a couple brief things. You know, was able to do some visitation today and visit Cleveland Innovations. They're doing great things in Cleveland County schools with their online classes. These folks that want to be homeschooled can still enroll in Cleveland County schools and still get education. I think we're doing a tremendous job with that, and with the CCP program, I think that we're doing a tremendous job with that, and you can see the honors course, within those guys and gals came in, and we're seeing great work in our school system. And I know you're hearing a lot of negative stuff up here, so we're gonna stay positive. We have a lot of great things going on in this school system. You can pick one or two things. I mean, we got over 2,000 employees. I think over 15,000 students. Are we gonna be perfect? Absolutely not. But are we doing great things in Cleveland County? Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, I think you wanted to exercise your option to say something.
I would. I agree with Mr. Fitch. There's, for the last 3 to 4 months, there's been what appears to be and looks to be, and actually has been, a ping pong match up here. You've got one side's mad at the other, one side's mad at the other. There's no sense in focusing on that. The most important thing to focus on is the children up here that just performed. The students that are entering the workforce, going through TPA, the School to Work program, the kids that go online every day and participate in Cleveland Innovation. That takes tremendous effort from the staff at both Cleveland Innovation and at TPA. That is a huge task that they undertake every day. As far as CCP, I have a son that just graduated high school, went into college with 49 credit hours that participate in CCP. I've got a junior in high school that is currently taking advantage of this program. So the positives by far outweigh the negatives. At some point there's going to be times where people disagree. We're going to argue over semantics on one thing or the other. But my goal to serving on this table right here is making sure that staff, students are prepared for the future. Staff's got that job to do, and that's what I'm here to do.
Thank you. I'd like to give a personal thank you to Dr. Hurst and Elisa for being here tonight. Yes, you'll learn to leave next time after your part's over. Thank you for sticking it out, because I know you have meetings tomorrow. And much of what I had to offer has already been said. The chorus did such a good job. That was a difficult piece. You know, that's not elementary music that they sang. That was very difficult, and they did an outstanding job. I got to hear them practice a little bit in the back, and did very well. And again, all the things that have already been mentioned with their School to Work, CCP, and all those things. Lots of good stuff in Cleveland County Schools. So, Mr. Shores, do you have a motion to enter into closed session?
Yes, pursuant to General Statute 143, 318, 11, Section A3 and A6, make a motion we go into closed session to consult with the attorney and also discuss a confidential personnel matter.
Is there a second? Second. I think I heard Mr. Bridges first. Those in favor, if you'd raise your hand. And that carries 9-0. All right, we'll adjourn to the conference room.